Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. Today we are going to explore what inheritance is and how it works. Inheritance is a fundamental concept in object-oriented programming. So what is inheritance? In short, inheritance is nothing but all about creating a new class from an existing class, allowing the new class to reuse and extend functionality of the original. This is simply nothing but a kind of like a family tree, where children inherit characteristics from their parents. In doing so, we will have several types of inheritance in Python. Single inheritance, multiple, multi-level, hierarchical, and hybrid inheritance. We will explain this one by one with help of the following picture. So, let us see the many forms of inheritance in Python one by one with the help of this picture and coordinate. What is single inheritance? Single inheritance is nothing but a child class inherits from a single parent class. It is simple and single inheritance. From this coordinate, we do have class A acting as parent class and another class, new class, which is named as B, acting as child class, but inheriting what is there with A. So, what the relationship here is, class inheriting from A simply. This is single inheritance. What the second form of inheritance is multiple inheritance. As the name indicates, one child class inherits from more than one parent classes. Now this child class inherits something from parent class 1 and something else from parent class 2. This makes it multiple inheritance. What the naming here is due to this more than one parent class. From this course named, we do have parent 1, parent 2 classes from which this child inherits through this inheritance definition, right? So, what the third form of inheritance is nothing but multi-level inheritance. Now, direct inheritance and indirect inheritance looks like this flow. One parent class is on the top and child class 2, child class 1, where child class 1 directly inherits something from parent class, whereas child class 2 inherits from child class 1. In doing so, this child class 2 inherits indirectly from parent class, right? From this code, we do have grandparent. This is grandparent class from which this parent inherits something from grandparent, and the third class, which is child, inherits what is there with the parent class. So implicitly we can understand that this child class inherits what is there within the grandparent indirectly. This is nothing but multi-level inheritance. What the other thing is hierarchical inheritance, where we do have more than one child class but one parent class, in which both child classes inherit on their respective from the existing parent class, right? This is nothing but the relationship between house and villa and apartment, where house is a parent of both villa and apartment houses, right? So villa inherits something from parent, apartment also inherits from house directly. So hierarchical inheritance is a kind of multiple child classes inherited from a single parent class. This is the definition. And this is the code tells us too, where both villa and apartment are children, whereas house is the parent of both, in such a way that we understand from this picture too. What the last form of inheritance is hybrid inheritance. This hybrid inheritance is a combination of the above or the previous inheritance forms, combination of multiple multi-level and hierarchical forms of inheritance. Now, for example, here parent class is 1, whereas child classes are more than 1, where this third child class inherits from these two child classes directly, and in turn this child class 2 and child class 1 inherit something from parent class. This is nothing but hybrid inheritance. From this code snippet, the same message can be conveyed here. We do have base class, right? This is parent class, in other words, where A and B are child classes, where each of these inherits from base class, and the third class C inherits what is there in A and B, C into A, B. At the same time, child class inherits A and B. This is nothing but hybrid class. So, for illustration purpose, and to begin from the simplest one, we will explore how inheritance works with the form of single inheritance, one parent, one child. Now let us see. Class house is the parent class, which consists the constructor, which takes in color and rooms as parameters, and this parent class includes also one method, div inherit self color rooms. This is the constructor where self color takes color, self rooms take rooms. Right. Now one method here describe the default argument here is self, which prints information about the house, the color with self rooms. For example, this is right. For example, self color. Now let us define child class, which is villa. Class villa. Villa is a type of house which inherits something from the house class. So, how can we define inheritance on the new class is nothing but the new class name followed by parentheses. Within this parentheses, we write the parent class house. Then into it, this one. For the time being, to see the effect of the inheritance, we pass for the time being. So let us create or instantiate new object, creating house and villa objects, villa houses, right? House 1 is created by calling the class name and passing the parameters. We are creating directly an object which is house 1, which passes in color and rooms. For example, this new house has blue color and four rooms. And let us create villa object, villa house, v1 villa this villa object also map of that house class. This takes two argument positions here also, color and rooms, where the color in particular is white here, whereas rooms 6. Now let us see calling methods or accessing. For example, let us accessing attributes of objects, right? The newly created objects. Let us access, for example, print h1 color, print h1 rooms. What is the color of house 1? How many rooms are there? Can be accessed through these statements, right? And print v1 rooms, print v1 villa 1 rooms. That's the respective results, right? The color of house 1 is blue with rooms 4 and villa. This is color. Color of villa 1 is. Let me rerun. Yeah, the color of villa 1 now is white with rooms 6. So what we can understand here, due to the statement of this one, villa into house, which signifies how Python inherits in object-oriented programming, or how inheritance works. Due to this statement, simple statement, everything under the parent house are mapped into the new class, right? And let us calling method. In our case, we do have describe method on both objects, meaning house and villa objects. For example, house 1 describe, right? Let me run. What the result is, the blue color is with 4 rooms, right? So blue color house is, let me make it meaningful, right? This is nothing but, let me rerun. The blue color house is with 4 rooms. This is directly, we are calling the object, we are calling the method, describe method on the house 1 object to obtain what is there. And let me call this method of house 1 on the child class, which is villa, v1 describe, run. We obtain this one. The white color house is with 6 rooms. Everything inherited from the parent class, house class, right? This is due to this statement, class villa house. So inheritance works like this in its simplest form.